There are numerous paths to achieving financial freedom, which can mean different things to different people. But for our purposes here, I will define it as having enough residual income from your investments to cover your monthly expenses, or as a formula, RII equals ME, residual investment income equals monthly expenses. And while this video isn't the definitive answer to achieving this, as there are many potential ways to achieve financial freedom however you might personally define it, it is one course of action that can help steer you toward this objective, regardless of your current situation, and also help you provide financial security and an ever-improving lifestyle. Now, before we jump into the video, if you find this content helpful or interesting, please be sure to like the video, subscribe, and share it with anyone you think may benefit from it. If you have questions or disagree with anything, please let me know in the comments or email us, and we can discuss them more in depth. But let's get on with the show. In this scenario, we're going to look at a recent graduate entering the workforce, but it could just as easily apply to someone who has been in the workforce for a while but feels as though they are just spinning their wheels and not getting ahead. So even if this situation doesn't perfectly match your life, identify where you might be along this timeline and adapt accordingly. So the scenario is as such. This individual is just entering the workforce, is unmarried, has no children, and has no consumer debt or mortgage. Step 1. Budget and save. Start by budgeting your income and setting aside 20%. Save, do not invest yet. Ideally, use a properly designed high cash value, whole life insurance policy for your savings, or at least a high-yield savings account. If your first job pays $48,000 a year after tax, or $4,000 a month, save $800 monthly. The remaining $3,200 is your budget for other expenses. At this stage, I recommend not contributing to a 401k. You're likely in the lowest tax bracket you will ever be in, and liquid savings must take priority at this point. Focus on savings and exploring resources where you can expand your knowledge around topics like investing in real estate, private lending, and dividend-paying stocks. Why this step? This initial step encourages the habit of prioritizing your savings, paying yourself first, living below your means, and starting your emergency fund. And if you use the whole life policy, you're also achieving many other benefits as well that we aren't even going to touch on here. Step 2. Save 6 months of expenses. Continue saving that 20% of your paycheck until you accumulate roughly 6 months worth of expenses, or around $19,000 in this example. As your income increases, channel half of your raises into savings. So if you get a $5,000 raise, save $2,500 and use the other $2,500 for lifestyle improvement. This strategy should bring you to your goal in under 2 years, assuming no raises. Keep educating yourself through books and podcasts on different investment and personal financial topics. Why this step? It's crucial to maintain good habits like paying yourself first, even as your income grows. Building up a 6-month liquid emergency fund is vital. It prepares you for unexpected job loss, or even a potential opportunity that might come your way. If you don't have liquid cash, then you won't be able to take advantage of it. Spending 20% of your income on consumption or placing it in a liquid, that is, difficult to access investments, could lead to regret and may cause you to take on high-interest debt if an emergency occurred. Step 3. Time to take a break and reassess. At this point, you should consider taking a trip or indulging in an adventure. Maybe take a break from your job and use part of your savings for travel, like exploring Southeast Asia, taking a road trip across the United States, or backpacking through Europe. You have all that savings you built up and fewer responsibilities than you will ever have again. This is the ideal time to make some memories. It's also a perfect moment to evaluate your career path. If you're not happy, consider a change. But in the meantime, keep learning about different investment options, personal finance, and personal development. If you're taking a month off to travel, you should have plenty of time to read and listen to podcasts after all. Alternatively, if travel isn't appealing to you or any other sort of adventure, you may use this step to consider starting that business you've always wanted to, or trying a 100% commission-based sales job that excites you and increases your earning potential. Why this step? Your youth is fleeting, and bigger responsibilities later may prevent such experiences. Traveling now can be much more affordable due to your current flexibility. As you age, comfort becomes a priority, making budget travel less appealing. At some point, sleeping in that bunk bed with 6 strangers in your room in that hostel in Paris loses its luster. But the point is that this is the time to take risks, create memories, and fully take advantage of your life with limited responsibilities. You should have 6 months of income saved, so you could easily take 1 or 2 months off and live off your savings, come back and begin work again, or have time to find a new job that you are more excited about or provides greater growth prospects. Step 4. Rebuild your emergency fund. If you dipped into your savings during Step 3, focus on saving that 20% again, plus half of your raises until you rebuild your 6 months' worth of expenses. In your free time, continue building up your knowledge and growing your skills. Why this step? Restoring your financial safety net is essential to your future financial security. Step 5. Establish an opportunity fund. Once you reach your 6-month savings milestone, keep saving. But at this point, any surplus becomes your opportunity fund. Begin implementing the strategies you've learned from all your reading and education. Determine what investments appeal to you the most and are most in line with your skills, preferences, and personality. Then determine how to allocate your assets. So, if you've decided you prefer real estate as your focus, perhaps your allocation would look something like 50% in real estate, 20% in private lending, 15% in crypto, 10% in dividend stocks, and 5% in physical gold. This will be different for each person. Ideally, you will be focusing on real assets that generate cash flow. Why this step? With 6 months' worth of savings, you now have enough security to take calculated investment risks with higher upside. The focus should be on cash flow producing assets. The reason for this is that they'll eventually cover your expenses, paving your road to financial independence and financial freedom. Step 6. Invest and refine your asset allocation. Begin constructing your asset allocation. This process could take weeks, months, or years, so it's important to persevere and adjust as necessary. Why this step? Building your ideal asset allocation won't happen instantly, especially with non-traditional investments like real estate. Remain patient and approach this methodically, avoiding overinvestment in any single asset class. What you may realize during this process is that certain investment classes are a better fit for you than others. Maybe one class you thought would provide great returns are underperforming, or maybe an asset class causes too much stress, or an investment you made is far less passive than you wanted. Or maybe you're now in a higher tax bracket and realize the tax treatment of a particular asset class is better or worse than it was as it relates to your new financial situation or needs. The point being, you want to reconsider your asset allocation and make changes as needed. Step 7. Save for 1 or 2 years of expenses. As responsibilities increase, marriage, children, caring for a sick parent, or dealing with a volatile job, you need to begin to focus on saving again. Aim for 1 to 2 years' worth of expenses in your liquid savings. Ideally, again, in a properly designed whole life policy with a mutual company. Whether it is 1 year of expenses or 2 years will be based on your particular situation. For example, if you're a business owner, work in a 100% commission job, or in a high-pressure job, you may want to shoot for 2 years' worth of savings. Those with fewer responsibilities, or who have a high-demand skill as a W-2 employee, may need only 1 year of expenses saved. But be aware that job loss can unexpectedly last much longer than anticipated. I have seen far too many people go more than 2 years without a job despite having all the skills and work ethic you could need. Why this step? 6 months savings may fall short during major emergencies. As responsibilities grow, expanding your emergency fund becomes crucial. You can either halt investment contributions completely and redirect to savings, or balance saving and investing, say at a 50-50 ratio. Step 8. Refocus on investing with cash flow in mind. After accumulating 1 to 2 years' worth of savings, prioritize building your investment portfolio. Shift your focus toward generating cash flow from investments, as opposed to focusing on just appreciation. Your goal is to align your investment income with your living expenses for true financial independence. Why this step? This is the time to ensure your investments generate enough cash flow to allow for greater lifestyle choices, and eventually building to full financial freedom, that is RII=ME. We want to be working diligently towards eliminating financial stress, so you can give yourself the freedom to pursue your passions and interests, spending more time with family and friends, and living your most fulfilled life, ideally while you're still young enough to do so. Step 9. Achieve financial freedom. When your investment cash flow matches your living expenses, you're financially free. You may choose to leave your job or stay based on your own desires. You're no longer tied to anyone else's agenda. You're officially independent and in a position to do almost anything you wish. You now have many more options to choose from. You could continue as is, you could reduce your hours, or negotiate a better lifestyle situation with your current job. You could leave your job and start spending time building out your investment portfolio. You could start a business, focus on charity work, write a book, spend every minute with your children, or whatever you wish. Once you reach this point, it is all up to you. I hope this helps you organize your life and financial future, and gives you some ideas to consider on your journey to financial success or financial freedom, however you may define that for yourself. If you got value from this, please be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.